You're probably aware of this, but tomorrow, 3 years since you signed on the dotted line for Cardiff City.
I know. No, I didn't realise that. No, I thought you were going to tell me that we'd never beaten West Brom for 25 years or something. No, it's flown by. Really, it's been full of incidents and ups and downs, and as you get in football. But overall, I'm really proud of of how the club is now to how it was when I arrived. I take a great, enormous pride in how we are, especially every time I listen to the fans, the way they've been. It's been unbelievable, really.
What did you find when you got here?
Well, there was fragments everywhere. I think that's how I would explain it. It was a fragmented club, really. Nobody really pulling it together at all, and that was my biggest job, really. I think, with not just the team, but then off the field and then upstairs with the owners, etc. It's been a real, not full-time, I was going to say full-time job, but it is a full-time job, but it's been a really big effort to put the club in a situation where we are today, really. And, everybody's pulled round. Vincent's been fabulous, and so has Mehmet, as everybody knows, and Ken. And then we've gone to the fans, and they've been amazing, and the office staff and everybody. They've all mucked in, really. And it's even been good for the local press people and in that area, because there's more an interest in the club again. So it's had a knock-on effect, really.
The toughest job you've taken on as a manager in all your career, would you say?
Yeah, overall. I mean, with everything to deal with, not just the football side, it's the toughest I've ever had, yeah, by far, really.
How have you come through it then?
By only reading fans' forums when we've won a game, and just trying to keep, as a manager, you've got your beliefs, and through adversity you get tested. You get tested on, are you doing the right thing? I think probably the only time since I've been at the club that I've doubted where we were going was probably 5 minutes to go at Reading. 10 minutes to go at Reading this season, where, I looked round and it wasn't one of my teams, and I wondered if there would be a response, and there was wonderful response for the next game, and obviously Morrison come to see me. He knew I were a bit down, Morrison, on behalf of the players, and had a chat with me, because who does talk to the manager, you know what I mean, who motivates the manager. I mean, Mehmet's been brilliant, but I think at times the lads must have thought at that time it might have been, in my mind. But we soon put that to bed.
In your mind to go, you mean?
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, I wouldn't want to stand on the touchline with performances like that, with the crowd, not happy, and because that one of the pleasing things for me is making the crowd happy. I remember when I got the Sheffield United job, and I told people when I was a kid, I used to go in through the turnstile, sneak in under my dad's legs, and up the top of the Kop, and watch the. And the oohs and the ahs and the shots, and then when we got a result, going home with my dad, it was like unbelievable for me at sort of 6-7 years of age. And that's what I want kids to remember here. I want kids to remember the Warnock times, how we went home after a game, and, wow, yeah, you're always going to get critics, and, you get that everywhere. But in general, I think the kids and tomorrow's fans and the dads have enjoyed my era, really, and I think there's still some to come.
What did Morrison say to you?
I think that's really between us.
But he was obviously concerned, so just give us a general...
Well, I just think, obviously you talk to Blackie and Ronnie, I talked to them more than I think they might have spoken to Morrison, because he was too well informed. And, there were a lot going off at the time as well, and we'd just lost Pack for 5 or 6 weeks, and Etheridge, and Bamba were nowhere near. So it was it's one of those things at times, isn't it? You're there, and everything sort of negative comes into your mind. But then you think, this is why I'm good. I've got to overcome this now. got to get my mind back. I've got to get them. We've got, I don't know how many days to the Huddersfield game. That's got to go, and you've got to show them where we're going, really. And it was a hard few days, that, but the response was fabulous. And had a chat with one or two players in that period, and like I say, Morrison and a couple of other lads were very, very good. And I think it was like a teamwork that week, how we got through that, and now we're up and running again, and getting one or two of the injured lads back, and life doesn't look as bleak.
That's why he's your skipper.
Yeah, that's why he's my skipper. Yeah, he speaks on my behalf, and he senses things in the dressing room, and he informs me. We're not going to get anybody in trouble. It's one of the success stories, really, a captain's relationship with the manager.
So 3 years, as I say, tomorrow. I'd love to celebrate it with getting something at West Brom, but you know how tough it's going to be there.
Yeah, I've always thought they might be the team this season. I thought they, Leeds have got probably the names, and they've spent a lot more. But equally, I think West Brom and Fulham have both spent big amounts of money as well. So I think those three teams, it's going to be in one of those three, I think, that will eventually win the league. But everything else is up for grabs, and I've always enjoyed going there. I think it's a good pitch, and I've had one or two really good games there. So it's I'm sure the crowd will be there because it's a good atmosphere there with the away fans, and hopefully it'll be raining and blowing. And I do, yeah.
One Kenneth Zohore you might come across.
Yeah.
How do you reflect on his time here? I remember you went from sort of praising him to being really frustrated with him. I mean, I can't imagine you've had too many players that have frustrated you as much as he did.
Well, the players that do frustrate you like that are the players that usually win you the games. Wherever I've been, Del Tarab and places, but I'm glad that I've been able to give him a step up in life, really, because I think when I came to the club, everybody was telling me to let him go the next week on a free transfer back to Belgium, and I didn't let him go, and I spent time with him, and he contributed enormously in us going up. He had a 6 months purple patch. And whether he can ever get that back or not, I think that's in between his ears. I think he's got every attribute going, Ken. So he's when he plays, he's an absolute threat to anybody, and a lovely lad, smashing lad. So I've had no problem. I'm not always thought he's had the best advice, if I'm honest, from certain people. But players have to take advice from some people, don't you? I won't go into detail really. No. On the record.
As you just said, he's the sort of player who can come back and haunt you in a way, isn't he?
Oh, crikey, yeah. He'll haunt anybody. He could score a hat-trick tomorrow, any time. That's the way he is. But he does need a certain type of attention as a manager. You have to involve him, daily, pretty much daily in conversations.
You had your best win of the season on Wednesday. 7 unbeaten now. At least you're going into this game in decent form now, aren't you?
Yeah, I think we're getting back to where we were. Really, we're not. You're tempting fate, because this team on Saturday will test every aspect of our run, defending, midfield, and at the back. So I think it's right to say it will answer questions, or it will put situations into place, having looked at the game, because they're an all-round very, very good team, but I think we are, so there's no reason why it can't be a cracking game, really.
And you get something there. How will you go into the international break? You think you're certainly in better shape than you were going at the last break.
If we could get a result at West Brom, it would be a fabulous end to the month, really. And then we regroup. And once again, we've been, I don't know why it's always us, but we've been given another Friday night after the international break, which means, once again, 2 or 3 of our lads aren't getting back till Thursday. I think once you can allow twice I think is out of order, really, which I'll be making a point. I'll be writing to the FA and the television people, and I'm sure I'll get a response saying, sweet FA.
What can be done about it? I mean, why is it always you?
There should be some sort of common sense, but unfortunately in football, especially the EFL, I don't think there is much going about. You know, for us to have, Friday night games consecutively on international breaks, I think totally out of order. When we've got lads, it's all right for these lads that have got European players that can come play on Tuesday and come back Wednesday, but we haven't. We've got people at the far-flung reaches of the world coming back Thursday afternoon, and we're playing Friday night on a top game. It's scandalous, really, and it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. But I wouldn't imagine anybody at the EFL will give one hoot about Cardiff City.
We're at Curacao, dare I ask?
We haven't got into that, Rob. I know it's a long way away.
But, I mean, will you have a word with your players now after what happened last night? Not just Leandro, but, you know.
Well, if anything, the long journey, I think, seemed to help Leandro. He's had his best spell since he's been here. So I've just said, if you don't come back till Thursday and you want to just come in on Friday before the game, do that, Leo. Whatever you want.
Because he hasn't looked back, really, has he, since then?
He's on what?
He hasn't looked back.
He hasn't, no. He's been the other night, you may not realise, but with Packy playing and us bringing Tomlin in, he had to be a bit more disciplined, him. And for 90% of that game, he marked their best player, who was the least effective. The only time the lad he got away from him, he hit the post. And I thought Leo did a really good job on him, really, and also contributed a lot to us going forward as well. So he's learning to do different roles for the club. I like it as well when we gave him a bit more freedom at Hull to go forward, you know. And yet when Packy was out, I thought he was our best defensive midfield player, you know. So he's really, really coming to the fore at the minute, and delighted he's getting the plaudits that, you know, he probably didn't always receive when he first came.
How are your injuries looking, Joe Rolls? Any chance?
He's getting better. Like I say, it's only 3 days, isn't it? And we've got 2 weeks. If I feel the same speaking today with him, I would probably tell him no. He probably would want to play. But I would probably advise him against that if we've got a fortnight before the next game, you know.
And Bamba?
We're looking to have I went down to Llanelli, how do you say it? Yeah. Near Faro, yeah. The other night, and it was a good game. They had a really good. I thought it was it was a good atmosphere and a good play. Apart from one or two yobs in the stand that my missus wanted to have a word with, but the pitch was good, and it's that type of game I think Sol needs to come into now. We'll be looking for one of those after the break. So probably the first week back, we'll probably have a friendly game rather than a 23 game. I think it's better with a bit of atmosphere, you know. But I haven't decided who yet against. But he'll be ready then.